Hi, welcome you all to the Crypto Singh Show, and my name is Gunpreet Singh, and we talk about Bitcoin, NFTs, metaverse, everything on this show every single day. What's happening with the Bitcoin market? Well, who cares when we're talking about gaming projects? Now, the data shows or the stats shows that actually the gaming industry would be one of the biggest industries in coming time. So many youngsters, so many people around the world would have their phones on their hand, would have gaming on their hand. Imagine everyone having a game on their hand and a game where they earn. Isn't this gonna revolutionize the entire gaming experience? Well, it is surely gonna be if you believe in it. So gaming industry would be one of the biggest industries. Now, our top 5 picks, I'm gonna give you my first pick today, which I think is gonna be the pioneer in the gaming industry or the gaming world in terms of cryptocurrencies. Well, which is this project I'm talking about? Before I reveal that, please do like, share and subscribe. Now, this project is none other than, I call it the Bitcoin of the gaming industry, and it is called the Sandbox. Now, we're going to go into detail of this, of Sandbox, and going to see why is it a pioneer and why am I so bullish on it. Well, we'll jump into Sandbox and I'll show you what I mean by saying that it's going to be the pioneer or it's going to lead the way ahead for the gaming industry. It already is leading the way ahead, but I think it's going to be something that's going to be way ahead of all the other projects. So saying that, you never know. It's technology, it keeps changing, but and I'll also tell you one of the biggest brands that have invested in Sandbox. So we'll get into Sandbox quickly. Now, this is the project I'm talking to you about, the Sandbox. Now, Sandbox actually originated in 2011. It was actually not a crypto game. It was actually a mobile game. So if you actually see, it's best known for its two smashed mobile hits, the Sandbox in 2011 and Sandbox Evolution in 2016. Now, together combined, they generated 40 million downloads across iOS and Android. And in 2018, they decided to, convert these games into blockchain. Now, well, the goal was to actually, of course, to lead the way ahead and disrupt existing game makers like Minecraft and Roblox. So Roblox is also and Minecraft, they both are also very strong in terms of the teams and the management. Now, this is where the Sandbox started. Now, they created their own NFTs, and we all know what happened with Sandbox. So saying that, Sandbox has been a hit since 2011 as a mobile game, as Sandbox Evolution mobile game again, and Sandbox as NFTs. So you have to realize that they have the maximum experience, I think. And the maximum experience means that they know how these games work on a mobile. So please try and understand that it's very important for any gaming to know how it works on your phone. It might be a crypto game, it might not be a crypto game. But any game that works on your phone is more important, because at this point of time that, the mobiles or the phones are going to be the biggest, they're going to be the maximum users for it. So everyone would be playing on the phones or mobiles. So they know how to do this, and that's exactly how they've been doing it. Now, Sandbox uses several tokens to ensure a circular economy between all types of users who will interact with the platforms, like players, creators, curators, landowners, everyone. Sandbox, we all know, also does land. Now, this digital land is basically you own a piece of digital land in the blockchain world of Sandbox. Now, it means that, in metaverse, you can buy, build an interactive experience. Now, what does this mean? You can actually buy the land and build your own game on it, and you can invite the others to play those games. That is exactly why all of these lands are so expensive, because there's a utility to it. Now, you don't need games to be played anywhere. You could have your LAN where the games would be played. So, you can have you can have exhibitions, not just games. You can have exhibitions. You can do anything with your LAN. You can actually do an art exhibition and put it in your LAN. There's so much you can do with your LAN, and Sandbox is allowing you to do that. Now they have total of around 1,66,464 1,66,464 LANs that exist with Sandbox. Now this is how the LAN looks like. Also saying that every LAN, they have LAN which is one by one, and it can be, so they have LAN known as estate. Now estate means, you combine the LAN. So in total, if you have 9, it becomes an estate. So that is what it means, that combining 9 lands, but that doesn't mean that you need to buy an estate. You can buy one individual land as well. So if you buy one individual, so 9 together would make an estate. Now what does 9 together means? That 9 means that those addresses or the lands have to be joined for them to make one estate. It can't be that you buy 9 lands in different parts of Sandbox project and then they can be made into an estate. No. So when they are so what happens is, why is estate important is also because it helps you to advertise. Now you get all the 9 lands together and you can advertise on it. You can make your own NFT advertisement on it, which in land which is individual is not actually possible. So that's what it does. And the basic Sandbox unit on a map, each land compromises of 96 into 96 meters in the game world, just big enough to enable all types of blockchain game experiences, but not too large to be unimaginable by a single person. So basically what they've actually tried to do is they've actually tried to create this game in terms of playing from a laptop and from a phone. So they've done a very smart way of creating this land or the gaming experience that they are doing. So what they've done is, now you have gaming experience, you have land experience, so you have everything on your land. So that is why this project is extremely I'm bullish on. Now how did this work? Now Sand is basically a token, or it's the ERC20 token used within the Sandbox, which is a Sandbox token, and it's as the basis for all the ecosystem transactions and interactions. Now land, I've already told you what it means, a digital piece of real estate in Sandbox metaverse. Players buy land in order to populate it with games, assets, interactive experience. Now interactive experience, I told you, means exhibitions of different kinds of sorts of exhibitions, or probably you can buy your NFTs and put them for a display. There's a lot that you can actually do on your land, and that's how this works. Each land is a unique NFT lying on the public Ethereum blockchain. Well, saying that they were on Ethereum blockchain, now the land can also be done on Matic. So they are trying to also convert themselves into Polygon. So that is also a thing that's been going on with Sandbox. Now assets are tokens created by players who build, assemble user-generated content. Assets utilize ERC 1155 standard and can be traded on the marketplace. The main utility being to serve as creation element in the Sandbox game maker. So, you can create these assets and you can sell them, and which can help each other to whoever finds it usable for their own experience can buy it from the Sandbox world or the open seas. Now even Sandbox has started selling. Actually initially Sandbox was not selling online, but now you can actually go into the Sandbox, but it will again take you to the open seas. But Sandbox is trying to also do a marketplace for itself. So this is what it is. Now land pre-sale. Now they started in 2009 with pre-sale. So, and they were all sold out in 4 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, and 5 minutes per wave, 2 to 5 minutes per wave. Now what does this mean that by wave? And last one was 4 hours. So what happens is every few hours or every half an hour they release few number of lands, so that this basically gives a fair kind of chance for everyone. For example, if you're in US and someone is an Asian, in an Asian country, and they launch their project at say 3 a.m. in the midnight, half of the Asia might be sleeping, so US would not, so it would not be a fair chance for everyone. So every hour they kept on, so every hour they keep on selling some land, and that got sold in 2 to 5 minutes. So none of the land sale has actually lasted more than 5 hours. So the last being on August 4, 2020, and but again, this means that land is the epicenter of the Sandbox metaverse. Of course it is, because it creates that experience, user experience, and everything. They will allow you to play and create games, earn tokens, host contests. So you can do contests on your land and much more. If you want to own a piece of the Sandbox, you can join their land sales on their map, where lands are available for a short period of time. But you can go on OpenSeas and figure that out as well, and you can get that on OpenSeas in a secondary market. Now elaborating more on Sand is an essential part of the Sandbox platform, and was launched on Binance, which is one of the biggest platforms, again in 2020 August. Now they are trying to work Sand, and it's basically an ERC20 token which is built on Ethereum. ERC is a Ethereum token. So it basically, what all you can do with Sand is buy equipment, play games, buy land, and you can when you stake your land, you stake your NFTs, you get, actually in that return you get Sand as tokens, and then you can buy other things with Sand. And artists will spend Sand to upload assets to marketplace, buy gems, or for defining rarity and scarcity. So basically Sand can be used in a lot of way. And saying that, Sand is also used, you can also use Ethereum, but when you stake with Sandbox, they pay you in Sand. And Sand can be used in governance. Now they can be used in DAO, which is decentralized autonomous organization structure, which means there is no hierarchy and everyone is at one level. So DAO means that there is no one higher or lower than you, everyone is on the same kind of line. So that is what that is what DAO means. So when you actually buy in Sand or participate, you get actually the voting rights in a kind of a layman form. You can actually vote for certain things. So you can exercise your vote on key elements such as foundation grant attributes to content, game creators, features, prioritization on the platform roadmap. Sand owners can vote themselves or delegate voting rights to other players of their choice. So this is what Sand has multiple uses, but of course it's all attached to Sandbox platform. But again, it's an extremely bullish coin from my point of view. So this is how this is done. So as I said, and I was telling you about staking, Sand allows for staking, which provides passive revenues on land. You receive more Sand by staking it. This is also the only way to get valuable gems and catalysts, and are required for asset creation. So when you create an asset, you require Sand, which is again what we've been talking about. Fee capture model: 5% of your all transaction volume carried out in Sand tokens will be charged, and 50% of the revenue going towards the staking pool as rewards for token holders who stake Sand tokens, and 50% to the foundation. Well, if you stake Sand with them, you get somewhere around 8 to 10% for now in terms of return, and that 8 to 10% does not come in USDT, Bitcoin. It comes in Sand to you. And getting onto the foundation, the role of foundation is to support the ecosystem of the Sandbox, offering grants to incentivize high quality interactive content and game production on the platform. To date, the foundation is funding more than 15 game projects and and granted 100 plus artists to produce NFTs ahead of the public launch. The overall valuation of the metaverse will grow through the valuation of all games funded by the foundation, creating a bigger game experience or something. So this basically, what this means is that foundation is something that will probably have more projects, fuse in more liquidity to those projects and make them grow as well. And it's completely like an ecosystem. So it basically means like a company where you give in the money and they branch out in 4 different directions in gaming, and then they come out with all these branches, and so that is how the sand will be used. So you're not just playing a game, it's not just a project, they are also progressing ahead, they are also utilizing their money into a creative way, and they are going ahead. So this means that now they have 15 game projects going on and 100 plus artists. Now I'll also tell you the artists or the brands that are associated with Sandbox, and you really need to know who these people are to really know that how much value this project actually holds. So before we move on, please do like, share and subscribe if you're liking the content. So sand can be used in purchase of services, land, assets, gems, games, create, play, trade, governance. We've spoken about all this, but this is just a chart to tell you how the sandbox can be used, or how, I'm making this project simpler for you to understand, because people don't understand what sandbox really is and what the land metaverse land really is and what are the utility of it. So it's very important to understand the utility of any project before getting into the project. So this is why I'm getting you all the projects, and we're going in detailed discussion or detailed about the projects themselves. So this is what Sand really does. Talking about the brands that are associated with Sandbox now. Well, these are some of the projects that are there, but other than that, you have Snoop Dogg, you have Gucci, and you have Steve Aoki. You have so many other projects associated with Sandbox. You have Matic, you have Atari, and all of these guys are in Sandbox now. And not to forget, Playboy Mansion is gonna come up in Sandbox. So Sandbox is something that Gucci has. If you think we're in a bear market, Gucci has actually recently invested. So they've invested in a bear market, and I think they're being smart about it, and they bought land in Sandbox. So you have Gucci now in Sandbox. So you have all of these brands in Sandbox. You have these singers in Sandbox. You have, rappers in Sandbox. You have everything in Sandbox. So all of these projects are associated with Sandbox, and this is what it is, and this is what Sandbox really does. And why I think is the future is why I've told you that, because they know how the mobile gaming works, they know how the your laptop or desktop gaming works. So the kind of experience they hold is massive. You can't ignore an experience of 10 years and not just 10 years, two very successful games, and they got that into the metaverse and into the blockchain. And what happened with that game is it exploded, and they became the leading like the Bitcoin of the gaming industry. So you have to understand that they've already proved, they've shown, and they've done that for over so many years and years again, and now they've again done it. 2011 they did it, 2016 they did it, 2020 they've done it. 2011 was a mobile game, 2016 was a mobile game, now 2020 is a blockchain game. But again, they are at it and they know how this gaming works. So the experience behind them is immense, and I think I would rely on that more than anything else. So that is why I think that Sandbox is gonna be one of the biggest projects coming in future. So now coming on to price distribution, or the way the price of Sandbox has affected, it's time to invest into the land of Sandbox, because there was a time when each land was worth 4 or 5 ETH each. Today it's about 0.92 when I'm making this video, which is the lowest I have ever seen. And I think it's the time to invest into the Sandbox land. Now Sandbox token, Sand was around 8.48, which was the highest ever, and today it's around 0.92 again, which is 8 times lower than its high, all-time high. So it's completely into a bear market. It's been crushed in pricing, and it's the time to invest into Sandbox. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. And this is what Sandbox is. And I think tokenomics are also quite good. Project is quite good, and it's quite a strong project from my point of view. Plus, it's already taken that lead in the crypto world of being the leader in the gaming industry. So I am extremely bullish on Sandbox, and you can do your own research. And if you want to invest, I think it's probably the time to invest into Sandbox. And if there is another market fall, it's the time to keep an eye on Sandbox. It's definitely, you should invest in Sandbox, but you might invest today or tomorrow. You don't know the price, we don't know the bottom, but from what we can see, we're already down 800%, 700% kind of pricing. So I think the hype is gone, the bull market is gone, and we're in a bear market. It's always good to invest in a bear market. And stay tuned with us for more gaming projects. Do like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to know more about these gaming projects, and if you want to know more detail about all these gaming projects, they are coming in soon. So do like, share, and subscribe. That's all for now. Signing off, Gunpreet Singh from the Crypto Singh Show. Thank you so much. Bye bye.